Everybody, it's Saturday night and you're with me, ADIKA. And if it's your first time here, hey, subscribe, hit that bell to be reminded. And if you like rock and roll, you're going to like this. What channel brings you intimate conversations with your favorite artists? This channel does. Now, moving forward, big question I have for you guys. What 80s mega songwriter pop star left the big city lights, the world of the 80s, just decided to live on a farm, gone a little country, and decided to do it his way? That's coming up next on Talking Wax. Boom.
Talking Wax.
Welcome back, everybody. It's ADIKA. I'm here with you. I'm glad you're with me. And if it's your first time, please, please, please don't be shy. All you need to do, subscribe, hit that bell to be reminded when we're coming on. Now, on tonight's episode, songs like New Sensation, Devil Inside, Mystified, Never Tear Us Apart. I mean, these are big songs of my generation and many, many memories of my own. Well, this gentleman left the big city lights, decided to do a little country, live on a farm, and do it his way. Founding member of INXS, Mr. Andrew Farriss, is right here in the house, and I go one-on-one with him, and we talk about life today and a little about life yesterday. Here's Mr. Andrew Farriss right now. I don't have to really give you much of an introduction because you probably know what you've done in the past, right?
I can remember most of it. Yeah.
Okay. A little band called INXS, right? A little band. You wrote a couple, little songs that maybe the world might have heard, right?
Yeah. Quite a few of them, actually. Most of them.
Quite a few. Andrew, it's actually, all joking aside, it's an honor to have you here. And I'm a big fan of your work. And you actually, a piece of my livelihood. I grew up with your songwriting, and you probably hear it all the time. So it's an honor. So thanks for spending the evening with us. And
hey, you're welcome. Yeah, it's good to be here.
But you know what? You're a vinyl guy, and I know you like vinyl. What's the most important vinyl albums that matter to you that you can't get rid of?
From when I was a kid, probably a record called Hoot Nanny that my dad used to have. There's an old Ray Charles vinyl that I've got as well. It's just sort of like a best of Ray Charles. Mm-hmm. That's an awesome piece of vinyl. And yeah, I think Simon and Garfunkel, and I think I've got With the Beatles, but I didn't have a lot of vinyl when I was a kid because I couldn't really afford it.
Yeah,
it was really just, whatever I could do when I was little. And then when I got to be a teenager, sure, I started sort of investing in it and had all kinds of different records. Now I got tons of vinyl. And I've been able to buy the sort of vinyl I couldn't afford back then.
So you get tons of vinyl. So are you? What's your mood now that you're into getting? Like when you go into a vinyl store and going through the bins?
Well, I don't so much go for how can I put it? I don't so much go for things that I already have, which is kind of obvious on digital, say. But I go for the things that I don't have on digital that are either some sort of semi sentimental to me, or just classic recordings. It could be jazz, it could be country, but and rock or whatever. But most of the time, because people have played these things to death, if you get them secondhand, they're mostly. It's hit and miss, right? You don't really know. And it's not like it was when I was a kid where you could go into buy a vinyl 45 or an LP, and you go into a little booth and put some headphones on and you get to play it first. You don't know what you're getting really. So I tend to buy more reissue vinyl.
Recording your new record, which boom, it's right here. That's on vinyl. Yeah, when you recorded this, did you have that? I'm recording this for vinyl. I want that sound.
Well, that's an interesting question. I'll try to not be too verbose. Yeah. Well, basically, I didn't actually start out wanting to make an album, let alone vinyl. What happened was I've always been a songwriter, and you mentioned INXS, and I've written songs for and with them for many years. Most of the most of the songs I've either written or co-written with Michael Hutchence, who passed away many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But the main thing is, as a songwriter, I had lots of songs, both from the old days and more recently, because I kept writing over the years. Some of those songs, even during the INXS years, I would shelve them because I didn't really know what to do with them. They didn't suit the albums or whatever. And then as I've got along, I decided, well, why don't I re-record these things, because the demos were pretty rough. So I started re-recording a lot of my older and newer songs that I've been working on, because I wanted the consistency in the sound and the quality, so they weren't all over the place. Some of them had other singers besides me singing, in fact, most of them. And when I started to re-record them, that I started paying attention to the fact that I needed a constant voice. Now it sounds a little naive, but it's the truth. The nearest singer around was me, because I live on a remote farm. I don't live on the coast in Australia, and I don't, like most people do, I live in the interior, or the outback, as you guys would call it, and I actually have cattle and I have grains, and I am a farmer. I've done that for 30 years.
Yeah.
And so for me, when it came time for me to re-record stuff, my wife's from Ohio, in Dayton, which is about 5.5 hours drive to Nashville. And so I'd spend a lot of time, obviously, with her family. I get on great with her family. And then I drive to Nashville, where I have, friends and now professional songwriting, hookups or whatever, with known and unknown writers, girls and guys, and I feel really good about that part of my life. But when I started re-recording all these songs was at my home farm, which is the middle of nowhere. So the only singer around was me. So I started singing, and I thought, oh, well, when I find a singer who really knows what he's doing, what she's doing, I'll get him to sing on this stuff. Well, when I got to Nashville, the recording engineer said, "What's wrong with your voice?" And I said, "Well, it's me." Like, I don't want to listen to me. And they're like, "Hey, man, we like this. Just keep singing." I'm like, "Really? Okay, sure. All right." And that's kind of how I ended up recording, with getting used to my own voice. Now, while this is going on, Marlena, my wife, and I took a horse riding adventure trip down to the Mexican border, a corner of Arizona, New Mexico, and obviously Mexico, along the Chiricahua Mountains with the Apache Indians. And of course, the U.S. cavalry in the old days, across the border, of course, Mexican people in the old days, Mexican army. And then up the road at the Tombstone there, just up the road, you've got the cowboys and the outlaws and the settlers trying to make some peace and keep their hair intact. And all this stuff, was the wildness of it really hit home to me on the back of a horse, because there was an old Wrangler cowboy guy called Craig Lawson who gave me literally a kind of history lesson on the back of a horse all through this wilderness area in the Chiricahua Mountains. So my wife, Marlena, and I, and Craig and his wife, Tam, just rode all through these wilderness areas for 6 hours a day, 6 days straight. And I had an education in this area that blew my mind. And I'd never thought of it like that before. It's not a Hollywood film. It's very gritty. It's very real. And it really hit home to me, like in a big way. It kind of like socked me in a way, because I felt the physicality of it. I'm coming back to your question about vinyl.
No, keep going. No, it's good. I like hearing this. So go ahead. Okay.
And so what happened was, because I'm used to riding horses and cattle and all that stuff, and Craig had cattle. He actually had Longhorn cattle. And, we'd do a little bit of mustering together or whatever. But the main thing I was interested in was the history of the area. The more I rode around, I'm like riding through Apache Pass. I'm seeing like literally old bullets on the ground. You'd see the ruins of the cavalry forts. We rode through these wilderness areas. And there's no roads in some of these areas. You've got to go by horseback or hike in yourself. And it really brings home the grittiness of that area. Old abandoned silver mines or whatever. Well, on one of my songwriting trips when I was in Nashville, I went back to Nashville, and I got in the room with these writers, and they said, "Hey, Andrew, what do you want to write a song about?" And I was like, "Can we write songs about the Old West?" And they're like, "Ooh, I don't know about that. Like that's probably not going to be a big chart hit." And I'm like, "So that's what I want to write a song about, the outlaw country, that kind of stuff." I get it now in this country. I understand the background of it all, and where probably country music's beginnings came from folk music through these people and cowboys or whatever, into barrooms, into saloons and all this stuff. Yeah. And now it's morphed into wherever we are. So when I got back to Nashville, I suddenly realized if I was going to make an album, I'm comfortable with myself singing now, sort of. Now I know what kind of album I want to make. I want to make a kind of outlaw country rock album. And I'm going to pull no punches. I'm going to be pretty gritty and real about the lyrics in it, what I'm talking about, and the history of that area. And it's funny because I got people saying, what are you singing about history and stuff? No one gives a shit about history. They don't want to know. I'm like, well, you know what? You wouldn't be doing what you're doing now unless that stuff had happened in the first place, you know? And if you don't know why it happened, then what are you doing? You know, right? You know, so
100%.
right.
Absolutely.
And so then that's when Marlena began to realize my crazy dream about making this album, you know. And so she said, well, okay, we can do this. Thank God she got it. And with some help of her very creative friends in the States, you know, we came up with the idea for that vinyl. It has the horse on it and the hummingbird and the clock that spins around, the arrows that fly out at you and all that stuff. Right. Everything to do with not just the music, but the songs, but the vinyl, the artwork, the photography, all the videos that I've been making all come back to that same idea. And that was the idea.
Andrew, I'm listening to it, okay? And for people out there, because everybody's going to want to hear, you know, because INXS was so powerful, and you probably hear this all the time, to cross over, because it's a totally different stretch. Were you nervous of doing this stretch, or, you know, like, okay, I'm yeah. And then singing, then the singing thing, and if I get excited, just tell me to shut up. It's okay. Don't worry about me. But singing, because here you are, you're going to start singing when you just had Michael, who's the ultimate front man, the sexy Jim Morrison, and here you are, the guy who wrote all these songs, these big epic songs. Now, okay, now it's all on me. So how did that feel for you?
Well, strangely enough, I'm okay with that. Mainly from a songwriting perspective, the singing thing and the performing live thing. Now, I've had some fun with that in the last year and a half. Yeah, being the front guy. Yeah, but you know, I'm not trying to be Michael. Michael was Michael. Michael was one, like you said, one of those 5 or 10 guys in the world ever that could walk out on a stadium size stage and entertain people, like masses of people, you know, and it used to blow me away. I mean, he was one of those guys, you know. But the interesting thing is we also had very diametrically opposed sets of what we brought to the table as songwriters. Like for me, my background was mostly musical, a little bit of classical training, you know, a little bit of jazz, blues, and I like country music and rock and other stuff. Michael never played an instrument, you know, and so his voice and his dynamic sort of personality were really what made him shine, you know, as a singer and a performer. But I've gone the other way where I'm just kind of just into the music, man. Like I'm not really trying to say, you know, look, I'm this demigod guy that gets on stage. I'm not about that. I'm just trying to say to people, I hope you like my songs. I hope you like this shit. And if you want to get into it, I really appreciate it. But the INXS side of it, another reason I've gone down this road is because I know exactly how to create and write for INXS. I know exactly how to do that. You know, and that's like a falling off a log for me. I know how to do that. But that's not what I wanted to do. And to be me, now I'm actually feeling good being Andrew Farriss because I am in something that's not really competitive with the INXS world. I respect those guys and my friends, my brothers. I had an amazing ride with them, really incredible, you know, experience. And speaking, you mentioned Jim Morrison before. I remember the first time INXS played in the United States. We did Rock and Roll Tonight with Eric Clapton and Simple Minds, and you know, we're standing backstage, and we're on Los Angeles live television, and Ray Manzarek comes backstage, and he stands there, and he says to me, "Where's your singer?" And I said, "Oh, Michael, he's over there," you know. And he goes, "Well, can I go talk to him?" I said, "She gets up to him, sure." And we were pretty relaxed as a group of people, and so he comes in, and I'm like, "Man, that's Ray Manzarek. Wow." You know, as he's in the room, you know. But he said, you know, I got freaked out. I was sitting at home watching television just around the corner here. And when your singer came on, it really freaked me out. I felt like I was seeing an apparition or something weird was happening to me. And that's the way he used to affect people, Michael. It was kind of freaky. He was, like I said, one of those guys. But for me, to me, I'm not trying to do that. I'm just being me. And I like country music. You know, I've had people completely miss the point of what I'm doing. There's a lot of INXS fans who go, Andrew, what are you doing? We just want an INXS album. What are you doing, man? I'm like, I'm having fun. That's what I'm doing. And I'm hopefully people enjoy the ride. I think one of the burning questions I get thrown at me is, hey, is this thing for real that you're doing? You keep playing country music? And I keep saying, yeah, but I'm going to do it my way. I'm not going to chase a train and go into some weird pop area that everyone else does. I'm not interested in that. I already explored pop music big time. You know, my band sold like over 60 million records. I don't even know anymore. And to me, I've already explored that area in my life. What I'm really interested in doing is exploring genres and trying to tie in some culture and bring culture into my music and talk about other people, not me, but other people, their lives, what happened to them, and why it happened, you know, and that for me is, I'm enjoying this journey, you know. Thank you for letting me be part of your show, and I hope everyone's okay out there. I hope their families are okay, but I hear what you say about John Lennon, like, give me some truth, right?
Exactly.
You know, that's what he wanted. He just wanted truth. He just, you know, enough bullshit anyway. So, but
that's it.
actually, I met the Beatles when I was 5.5 years old as a kid. That's another story I can tell.
That's another story. We could do a part 2. Maybe I'll get you back. I'll get your people to come in there because I got to hear the Beatles story. Go do your next interview, whatever you're doing. Andrew Farriss, thank you very much. His record's out. The links are going to be in here. Click here. Andrew, I'm going to let you out. It was great talking to you. God bless you and your wife, my friend, very much for spending time with us. All righty?
Bonne chance. Okay.
I like that. In Brooklyn, we say, yo, take care. All right. Cool. Hey, remember, Andrew, I got the hat. I'm ready for you, brother. Okay. Okay. We'll speak soon.
I'll keep an eye out for you.
Okay. Okay. Bye, my man.
Working with Andrew Farriss, the guy's just so creative. His brain just doesn't switch off from creative land. He's always thinking of what about this or what about that, and they're all just great ideas. No wonder INXS had such great songs and such great music. Can everyone come down to the station, Master Sign, please? Just want to say thank you so much, everybody, for being a part of this today. Of course, especially the Filmery guys. But everyone played their own special part in it.
So when this comes out, if you guys can follow Andrew and help share it so everybody can see your beautiful faces on the screen, and that'd just be amazing. We just really are very grateful that you guys are all here today.
Absolutely.
That's a wrap.
I want to thank Mr. Andrew Farriss for spending some time with us. Also, if you want to check out Andrew's new music, in the links in the description below, you'll be able to find out. Just click on the highlighted link and it'll take you right there. And if you did like this show, share this with somebody you think that's going to enjoy it as much as you did. Also, everybody, next week we'll be back with some more stories and more interviews. So remember to hit that bell and also to subscribe to be reminded when we're coming on. On that note, everybody, it's time to dance the night away. It's Saturday night. I'll see you all next week. Mwah! Bam!
Talking wax, alright. Talking wax. Talking wax.
Hey, stop right there. If you enjoyed tonight's show, please click over here, click over there, or maybe there, or maybe right over here. You might find something special that you might enjoy. A lot of great stories, a lot of great tales, and it's only rock and roll. And I like it. I'll see you all next week. Who loves you, baby? We do. Bye-bye.